So in this training today, we are going to go over how to compare two lists in Excel. We're going to compare the attendance report and everyone who is currently enrolled in the Ready for Life program. By doing this, this is going to decrease the amount of auditing you will need to do on a weekly basis. So I am going to show you how to do it today, and as well as provide the real deal for you to work off of while you do the audit. And then you're going to go and do this in Excel and send it back to me, and I'll review it and see how you did. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run a report in Spero. I'm going to run first a report called QA Current Status Report. What this is tracking is how many people are active and ready for life, whether they are a residential or community guest. I'm going to show details that will include the list of the name. I'm going to show gender because I'm just intrigued by that and how many days that they're enrolled. I'm going to hit, all I have to do is hit run. And here is the giant list. It's coming. Here we go. So there's the giant list of everyone who's currently enrolled and ready for life. We have 639. So without doing this comparison, you would have to audit 639 individuals. But I found a loophole. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this as an Excel. So all I did was click on the Excel file, and as you can see, it's being built down here. And so I'm going to click on it and open it. Opens up. And I'm going to hit Enable Editing. So we have to get this Excel report ready to be able to do a couple formulas. So we're going to hit Enable Editing, and we're going to clean it up a little bit. So as you can see, this is our main header that we want, and we want this to be at the top. So what we're going to do is we don't need all of this data here, so we're going to choose rows 6 through 1. And all I did, if I just click here and drag, I'm just selecting this area, but if I click actually on the 6 and drag up, it will grab all of the rows all the way across, and that's what I want. I'm going to right click and I'm going to left click on delete, and that'll get rid of that. So that pulls it up into row 1. Now I need to filter it out. So first I have to collect and highlight all of my data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on date, and on my keyboard I'm going to hold down Control CTRL. At the same time I'm going to choose Shift, and at the same time I'm going to choose End. And as you can see, that highlights all of my data. So that was Control, Shift, End all at the same time. And that highlights everything that had a cell that has something in it or could. Why this row here is being selected is because when the report was run, it thinks that there could be data in these spots. So in our Spero report, these are columns that could have data in it if we so choose. But it's okay that they're being highlighted now. So I'll do it again. So I click on date, which is A1, and you can see A1, and I choose Control, Shift, End, and that collects everything. And I go to my Data tab up here, and I choose Filter. Now I can click here, and here is everything filtered out on every date. So to clean this up, what I could do is I could uncheck all. I could come on down and choose Total In and Blanks, hit OK, and these are all the blank cells and blank rows. There's some blank going on in this row. So what I can do is highlight all of these and down a little bit, and I'm just cleaning up, remember? So I'm right clicking, I'm left clicking on delete, and now that gets rid of all of my blanks. So when I come up here, you'll now see there are no more blanks. So it just cleans it up a little bit. Select all, hit OK. I can do the same thing on date if I want to, or on last name. Is there any blanks? No. See how it's all cleaned up here. Days enrolled. I can check. All clean. You don't really need to do that. Really, you just need to do it in the first column. So this is all cleaned up. Now, later, I'm going to need what's called a unique identifier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a unique identifier. So I'm going to click in H1 here, I'm going to add a new title, and this is going to be called Unique ID or Identifier. Hit enter, and there it goes. It bolds it because this entire row is formatted for that. And I'm going to come down to H2, and I'm going to create a formula. Don't get scared. It's not, this one is something you can use in a lot of ways, and you will use it as you audit, and it'll make your life a lot easier. So what I'm going to do, what a unique identifier is that it's going to compare, it's going to create something that is in data that's in this row that it would collect all the way down this column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the equal sign, which is at the top right of your keyboard where the plus sign is. I'm going to hit that, equals, and I'm going to do concatenate. I know it's weird, but it's spelled C-O-N-C, and it'll come up right here. If I double click on concatenate, I can never say the word, double click, it's going to create the formula. It's here as well as here, and it actually tells you step by step of what to do. So I'm going to choose my text first. So I'm going to choose my first name. So I'm going to click on this person on this row under B2 right here. And then I'm going to click comma. And what the comma does is it stops for a second so I can click somewhere else and it won't mess up what this area says. So I'm going to click comma. Then I'm going to click the last name of this cell. So I'm going to click Eason, comma, whoops, I clicked 2, I hit backspace, and then I'm going to choose the date of birth. And then I'm going to hit actually end parentheses, so shift end parentheses and hit enter. And as you can see now, I have my unique identifier. So this is their first name and their last name and their date of birth all together. So I want this to be for everything else, for all of these 639 people. So, oh my gosh, do I have to go in each cell and create this formula in every single cell? No, you don't. Here's a trick. This one's fun. So if you come up here and scroll over the bottom right corner of the cell, see this little plus sign? There's the the blank like shadow one, but here's the little black one. If you double click while this symbol is showing, double click, bing, it drops that formula all the way down until a blank pops up. So all the way. Isn't that cool? So again, it is, you can't see it there. So it's right, you can't even see it anymore. See? But if I undo that, and I click here, see how there's the white plus mark and then the black one. Click the black one and double click. If I only click once, it doesn't do anything, but I have to hit twice. And it drops all the way down, which is great. So there's my unique identifier all the way across. When you see me double clicking up on the top of the row, what that is doing is it's extending the column space so that you can read what's going on. You can either click and drag and make it as small or big as you'd want, but if you double click on it, it lets you see everything that's in the cell all the way down, which is nice. Just a little trick. Okay, so this one we're going to leave alone for a second. Now we're going to go back into Spero and we're going to run a different report. We're going to run a report on every person that has attended a bunch of different subprograms in a specific time period. So the one that we just ran is everyone who's currently active in the Ready for Life program. Now we need to compare it to who has attended something at Cherry Street in a specific week period in the last 7 days. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on reports. We're going to go down to attendance and we're going to click on attendance. So this is like the header, and you can see it because it's here. Now I click on attendance. I'm choosing everyone that's attended during a certain time frame, and I'm going to choose the past 7 days. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see my air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes. From the 29th to today. We are going to be doing this audit every single Saturday and Sunday, so that on Monday our data is clean. By Monday morning at 8 a.m. our data will be clean, ready to go for the next week. So I know we'll get into scheduling here in a little bit. But so we're going to choose the 29th through today. Typically though, if it was Saturday morning, Saturday at 12 a.m., 1 a.m., we would do through the 5th. But we need to do through the 8th for this exercise. I'm going to add a program, so I'm going to choose Ready for Life. And I'm going to choose specific subprograms. So I'm going to choose beds, because I want to know who has stayed in one of our beds in the past 7 to 10 days. I'm going to choose breakfast, dinner, and lunch. I'm going to choose serving hours. And that is all. Now I could choose the assessment extension, which isn't a bad idea. Or not the assessment, but the assessment extension. That's not a bad idea, so we'll choose that one too. So we'll choose assessment extension, both beds, men's and women's, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and serving hours. Now you have to click add. Choose the role, so we're just doing community and residential. Or you can check all for the fun of it. We're going to do everyone who's an in, and you have to choose a status, so we're going to do Ready for Life in. Show details. Otherwise, if you don't show details, this is what you're going to see. You're just going to see a bunch of numbers of attendances. We don't need that at this time. We need a whole list, so we're going to show details. That's it, and we hit run. It's thinking really hard. Here's our list. So we have 426, so you can compare the two numbers that we had 426 here and 600 in the other list. So obviously there's about 200 or so people that have should be in out status but are not, that are going to need corrected. But that's a heck of a lot better than auditing 600 and 28. So I'm going to take this report and I'm going to pull it out as an Excel. So I'm going to export it as an Excel. So I click on Excel. And I have this report. So I open it up. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the other report.
What feedback do we have on Spero?
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Enable Editing. I'm going to delete these two rows, clean it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to select first name, Control Shift End. That's collecting all my data. Click Data, choose a filter, choose on the name, uncheck all, come all the way down, just choose my blanks. See if there's anything else weird in the names section. Partner and volunteer, that's a person that we use for anonymous. Good, hit OK. Here's all your blanks, so you're going to highlight all of these, not the header, just the numbers. Right click, delete the rows, select all, hit OK. Here's all your information. Do a unique ID, right? Do you remember how to do it? So we're going to do equals concatenate, double click on it. I'm going to choose first name, comma, last name, comma, date of birth, and parentheses, enter. I'm going to make that a little bigger. Click on my cell, see the black plus mark, double click, check to see if it went all the way down, and it did. Fantastic. I'm going to run out of video.